box was dead and gone. I wished so badly that I could fix it, but I couldn't. And this was the onset of what would become my journey, a dream of working with computers. 5 years later, I went on to boarding school. This is a picture of me on the left, and to the right is what my classroom looks like in high school. During this period, there was no water, and we would walk half a mile each way every single day to fetch water just so we could shower the next morning. There was also often no power, so I studied many nights after nights with candles. Boarding school was really hard, but the dream of working with computers never left me. I dug up that old keyboard belonging to the 90s computer that we had, and I decided to teach myself typing. I figured, at least if I knew how to type, I'd be one step closer to engineering. Now, in high school, the gender distribution was basically 50-50. Boys and girls were learning the same thing. After high school, I enrolled in electronics and computer engineering. And when I got into engineering, I noticed a vast difference between the ratio of male to female. In my class of about 300 students, there were only 18 of us females. So that's 3 females for every 50 students. And for the very first time, I realized I did not fit in. I often felt the need to man up or act more like a man just so that I would belong in engineering. But I didn't give up. I studied really hard and I graduated third in my department with upper class honors. Before graduation, I had an internship that made me fall in love with programming, and I still had a lot more that I wanted to learn in software engineering, so I decided to pursue my master's in the US. I took the GRE and the test of English as a second language, and I did really well. And so I started the application process. And super excited, I went to my head of department with a recommendation letter. And guess what he said? He told me to go get married. While he was well-meaning, this was the environment in which I found myself. A culture where women are expected to just be wives. So how dare I, a young woman, dream of building an engineering career when I should be getting married? At this point, you're probably wondering, how did I get here? Or why am I telling you all this? The reason I'm telling you these stories is so that you can understand that women can rise in engineering, no matter the circumstances, and despite the statistics and the underrepresentation. You can dream big and accomplish your goals. Believe in yourself and don't let anyone stifle your growth. Now that you have a good understanding of my background, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Chuka Ononiwu. I'm a senior software engineer at Apple in Silicon Valley, California. Today, I'm here to share with you the 3 key elements that I identify to be most essential in my journey of building and navigating my career. I want you to remember these elements, so I created a simple acronym for it. BPB. Out of curiosity, I looked it up on the internet. I wanted to see what this acronym could possibly already stand for. Bread and peanut butter. It's good, but it's not what I'm talking about today. This other one was interesting. Brad Pitt's butt. Well, obviously, that's not it either. So what is it? What does BPB stand for? It stands for bold, proactive, and balanced. My dear friends here, you have to be bold. Going back to the head of department story I talked about, that was a situation that required immense boldness on my part. I remember standing there, feeling very stupid. I urged myself not to cry, and I told myself, Chuka, don't listen to him. I am not leaving here without a recommendation letter. And I stood there for hours. And eventually, after he got tired of seeing me at the corner of his office, he wrote me a recommendation letter. A great one, actually, that got me into NYU. Usually when we think about boldness, we think of movies like Braveheart, where Mel Gibson fearlessly revolts against the king for executing his one true love. Or we think of The Avengers, where the world's mightiest heroes unite to defeat the evil villains. But the truth is, boldness isn't that complex. It simply is the ability for us to overcome the challenges in our regular, everyday life. So boldness is daring to dream big, even when circumstances seem impossible. It is breaking barriers and pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, despite the chances of failure. Boldness is owning your mistakes and correcting, learning, and growing from them so that you don't repeat them. Boldness is believing in yourself and speaking up at work. I'm from a culture where women, especially young women and children, are expected to just listen while men do most of the talking. I brought this mentality to the US, and I found that in meetings, when I have an idea or a comment, I would go through multiple versions of it in my head, trying to figure out how to appropriately phrase it. And by the time I was comfortable enough saying it out loud, I had lost the opportunity, or someone else had said the same thing. And so like a bubblehead, I would nod and exclaim, yeah, exactly. But at that point, it's no longer your original idea. And staying silent in meetings can come across as not being engaged or passionate about your work. So I had to constantly remind myself to speak up. Remember when I thought I didn't fit in? Boldness was what made me overcome my imposter syndrome. It was what made me realize that it's not about fitting in. It is about standing out and contributing your unique ideas and perspectives to the team. And most importantly, boldness is perseverance. So now that we're being bold and we're dreaming big, next comes proactiveness. What does it really mean to be proactive? It means instead of waiting for opportunities to come to you, you go out and hunt them down. I'll give you an example. During the year between my undergrad and my master's, I enrolled in a program in Nigeria called National Youth Service Corps. It's a nation-building program designed to bridge the socio-economic gap and make education and other developments widely available across the country. My primary assignment was to teach mathematics at a rural poor orphanage school. After I arrived, I noticed a couple computers at the principal's office that weren't being used. And so I asked the principal if they teach the students how to use the computers. And she said no. They'd never taught computers because they'd never had a teacher competent enough to teach it. And so I volunteered myself. And over the next few days, the principal and I worked together to create the syllabus and order the textbooks that I would be using to teach computers, in addition to the mathematics that was my original assignment. I'll give you a more recent example. After many years working in the industry with people from various backgrounds, both at work and at non-profit organizations I volunteer at, I've realized that I'm very passionate about motivating and helping people grow, just as much as I am passionate about working with computers. And so I brought this up with my supervisor at work, and I discussed with him my goal of becoming an engineering manager, and he agreed to help guide me towards accomplishing this goal. At the same time, I enrolled in online management classes, and because I already had a very busy schedule, I would listen to the lectures in my car on my long commute from work, and I would do the assignments and the projects at home after I get back. So, proactiveness is striving towards your goals and creating opportunities and solutions where none exists. It is sharpening your skills and always being ready for bigger opportunities and taking on more challenges. And keep in mind that when you're performing at the next higher level, a promotion will likely naturally follow. Proactiveness is communicating clearly. Don't wait to be asked. Go present your ideas to your management. Get mentors who are ahead of you to help guide you towards accomplishing your goals. And don't forget to mentor others along the way. I won't hesitate to admit that my journey was hard and it was tiring at times, which is why the third element is very essential: balance. First of all, you have to remember not to be too hard on yourself. Engineering is challenging for everyone, so just put in your very best and it will be enough. Tap into your support system, your friends, your family, your community groups. They all help provide encouragement, especially when the challenges start to weigh you down. Stay efficient at work. And by this I mean staying focused on the tasks that you have to get done and being productive during regular work hours so that you can minimize the number of times you have to work late, which will in turn ensure that you don't burn yourself out. And most importantly, take a vacation. Go on a break and actually unplug. Set your auto-response so that you're not tempted to check and reply to emails. And keep in mind that the importance of a great vacation is that you're ready to bring in your 100% performance after you get back. In the beginning, I urged you all to be bold. For me, this is the first public presentation that I've had to present in my entire career. And look at the crowd. It's huge. It took a bold step for me to stand before you here today. And I sincerely hope that my journey encourages you all to pursue and achieve your biggest dreams. And for all the head of departments you'll encounter in your own journey, tell them you are not leaving without a recommendation letter. Thank you.